Have you ever just looked at a simple pill, one you might take for a headache, and really thought about what's inside? It seems so simple, but today we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible science that turns a basic chemical into a perfectly crafted piece of medicine.
So that's the big question, right? How in the world does a pile of fine powder get transformed into a solid, effective, and totally reliable tablet? Well, I can tell you it's definitely not magic. It's a journey of meticulous design and tough-as-nails testing that we're going to break down step by step. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with the blueprint for the tablet, then see how scientists lay the groundwork. We'll meet the supporting cast of ingredients, see how the very first formula gets made, watch it go through a whole battery of quality tests, and then finally, see how it gets ready for the real world.
Okay, let's just dive right in. First things first, we have to understand the master plan. What does it even mean when we talk about tablet formulation?
It's so much more than just scooping some ingredients into a bowl and mixing. Formulation is this incredibly high-stakes design process. The goal is to make a product that works, obviously, but also one that's safe, stable, and 100% reliable. You have to be sure the patient gets the exact right dose every single time, and that the medicine actually gets where it needs to go to do its job.
So before a single tablet ever gets pressed, scientists have to do their homework. This is what's called the pre-formulation stage. It's where they get to know the active drug molecule on a deep, personal level. I mean, you can't build a sturdy house without understanding your wood and concrete, and it's the exact same idea here.
And this stage involves a whole battery of tests. Scientists are checking everything. How does the drug hold up under bright lights or in a humid room? Does it play nice with all the other potential ingredients? They're also measuring fundamental stuff, like how big the particles are or how well it dissolves in water. All of this data becomes the logical foundation for every single decision they make from here on out.
Now let's talk about the unsung heroes of pretty much every tablet out there, the excipients. These are all the non-active ingredients, the binders, the fillers, the coatings. They're the stuff that makes it possible to turn a powerful drug into a pill you can actually take.
First and foremost, the choice of excipients is all about the medical need. If you need pain relief fast, you'll use ingredients called disintegrants that make the tablet explode apart in minutes. But for a slow, 12-hour release, you're going to need specialized polymers. And what if you need the pill to survive the acid in the stomach to work in the intestines? Well, that's where something called an enteric coating comes in.
And believe it or not, looks really matter, but maybe not just for the reasons you think. Sure, a nice, clean, white tablet made with lactose looks appealing, but what's really crucial is that distinct colors and shapes help people, especially older folks taking multiple medicines, tell their pills apart. It's a huge factor in preventing dangerous mix-ups. And of course, there's always the business side of things. The cost of the ingredients and the manufacturing process itself are huge factors. A method like direct compression, where you just squeeze powders into a tablet, is often the cheapest way to go, even if it means you have to buy some more expensive, specialized excipients to make it work. It's a constant balancing act.
And finally, the bottom line is that all these choices have to lead to a top-quality product. The excipients are chosen to make sure the powder mixture flows perfectly through the machines and that the final tablet can pass every single quality check that gets thrown its way.
All right, so now we get to the really fun part, the experimental stage. With all that background knowledge, scientists are finally ready to cook up the very first prototype formula. And to do it smartly, they use some really powerful statistical tools.
Okay, so a couple of popular methods are called placket, Berman, and extreme vertices designs. The easiest way to think about it is like you're trying to bake the perfect chocolate chip cookie. Instead of baking 1,000 different batches, changing one thing at a time, these are super smart ways to test lots of combinations all at once. Placket Berman helps you quickly figure out which ingredients, like say the brown sugar versus the white sugar, have the biggest impact. Then something like extreme vertices helps you fine-tune the exact amounts. And this is actually what it looks like in practice. This table here is a placket Berman design. It looks complicated, but it's really elegant. See all those rows? Each one is a totally unique recipe for a tablet. The plus and minus signs just tell the scientist whether to use a high amount or a low amount of each ingredient in the columns. By making and testing just these 12 versions, they can figure out which of those 11 different excipients are actually making a difference. So a prototype formula has been chosen, you think you nailed it. Well, not so fast. This is where the real challenge begins. That new tablet now has to survive a whole series of brutal quality control tests. It's like a gauntlet to prove it's really got what it takes.
The prototype gets tested for literally everything. Is every single tablet the exact same weight? Is it strong enough to survive shipping? Does it fall apart when it's supposed to? Does it dissolve correctly? Is the amount of active medicine consistent from pill to pill? Each one of these is a critical hurdle it has to clear.
The hardness test is pretty much what it sounds like. A machine literally measures how much force it takes to crack the tablet. And why does this matter? Well, a tablet that's too soft is just going to crumble into dust in the bottle before it even gets to you. A similar test is the friability test. Now, friability is just a fancy word for how easily a tablet chips or breaks. They put the tablets in a spinning drum to simulate them getting knocked around. If little pieces break off, that means the patient isn't getting the full, accurate dose. So this is a massive patient safety check.
But this next one, this might be the most important test of them all, the dissolution test. It measures how fast the active drug dissolves in a liquid that mimics your stomach. So the crucial point here is that this test is our best guess for bioavailability. It predicts whether the medicine will actually get absorbed into your bloodstream to do its job. This is the test that directly links the lab to the patient.
And that brings us to the home stretch. A tablet that passes all those quality tests still isn't quite finished. It has to prove two more things. One, that it's going to stay good over time on a shelf. And two, that it can be manufactured perfectly, not just in the lab, but at a massive scale.
This whole thing is done through a two-phase process called validation. Phase 1 happens right there during development. It's all about perfecting that recipe, defining exactly what makes a good tablet, and understanding how every little variable affects the final product. And, of course, documenting every single detail.
Then comes Phase 2. This is where we see if the recipe works at scale. We're moving from the kitchen to the factory. They run full-size production batches, and they even intentionally push the process to its limits to prove that it's robust. If these batches meet every specification, the process is officially validated, and that medicine is finally ready for the public.
This quote really just nails the whole goal of validation. A validated process isn't just one that works, it's one that's so deeply understood that you know exactly how any little change is going to affect the final tablet. It's all about having complete and total control over quality.
So there you have it. From a bit of simple powder to a potentially life-saving medicine, the journey of a tablet is just packed with mind-boggling scientific complexity and precision. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden science is out there, hiding in plain sight, that we rely on every single day?